All right, guys, we're going to start the show shortly. Friday edition of the I Love Seville show. Looking forward to connecting with you guys. Scott Aaronworth and Johnny Ornalis, hello and welcome to the broadcast. A lot to cover on the Friday edition of the show. I enjoy the Fridays and connecting with you guys through the I Love Seville network. We'll start in about 30 or 45 seconds today in the program. If you guys give the show a like and a share, that would mean the absolute world to us. Some news to get to from schools. Norfolk State University doing some clever and interesting things to encourage vaccinations. There's a drive-through kiosk that's currently for sale for $5,000 that may have some potential. We'll talk a topic that came up on our morning show, which is called Real Talk, of underperforming corridors or roads or areas in Charlottesville. We'll highlight and identify some of those roads or corridors. We'll start in about 15 seconds. Give that show a like and a share anywhere you're watching, and we'll start and have some fun. It's going to be a good program. We appreciate you, Scott and Johnny Ornalis, quite a bit. Mark Beyer, welcome to the broadcast. Mary Davis, hello. Welcome to the show. Aaron Novoa, welcome to the show. You're watching in Richmond. Jill Shadow, hello, and welcome to the broadcast. Sherry Allen, hello, Sherry Allen, welcome to the show. Isa Jackson watching the program. Hello, Isa. Are you watching in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Isa? I believe you're right outside Chapel Hill. Let me know, that would be great. Yep, outside Chapel Hill, North Carolina, welcome to the show. Judah Wickower, we can start the program when you're ready. Good Friday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Seville show. Happy Friday to you guys. Glorious day to be alive. Of course, we're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love Seville network. We're presented by Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Skooma Boutique Dispensary located next to Rapture on the downtown mall. Fantastic spot for pain management, anxiety management, sleeping through the night, help you relax. David T. and his team at Skooma Boutique Dispensary offer certificates of analyses on everything in the store, CBD or Delta 8 related, guys. A lot to cover on the program. Liberty University is heading to quarantine. We will talk about that on the program. Outbreaks left and right in Lynchburg. Liberty University is going to quarantine at least until September 10th. Details on that on the show coming up. At least 159 known cases among student, faculty, and staff as of Wednesday. The fall semester began this week and already an outbreak at Liberty U. Albemarle County reporting some positive cases, 12 in fact. School started this week at Albemarle. School started in Charlottesville, a day ago, 2 days ago, and 7 positive cases at Charlottesville High School. The cases, a lot of this is being spread on school buses right now. We'll highlight that on the show. Norfolk State, home of the Spartans, is going to offer money to staff and students if they can show proof of vaccination. I will introduce you to a kiosk that's for sale for $5,000. In fact, Judah Wickower is our fabulous director. I'll put you on the spot here if you could. In the email I sent you with the rundown, if you click the Craigslist link, there's some photos that you should be able to capture. So when we get to the drive-through kiosk portion of this show, we can highlight on screen pictures of the kiosk. So if you can grab those, that would be amazing to us. This morning, on Fridays, we do a show called Real Talk, which is one of the best shows we do. This topic came up on Real Talk. What are the underperforming corridors or streets in Charlottesville, and what can be done to improve them? So we'll highlight some of the underperforming corridors today on the I Love Seville show. Of course, we encourage you to follow I Love Seville on Instagram, third largest Instagram community in Central Virginia behind the city of Charlottesville and the University of Virginia. It's our community, I Love CVille, with more than 13,000 followers. So guys, Liberty University is at it again. Liberty University announced a temporary campus-wide quarantine because of a spike in cases. The quarantine at Liberty U is going to last until September 10th at least. So we're looking at a 2-week quarantine. The university's online COVID-19 dashboard showed 159 known active cases among students, faculty, and staff as of this past Wednesday. The fall semester began this week. The university does not require vaccinations. It lifted building capacity restrictions, social distancing requirements, and mask requirements. So let me get something straight. Liberty University. Liberty University is the second largest digital school in America. And when you combine its digital enrollment with its in-person enrollment, it's the largest student body in America. Liberty University, heading into the semester, said you don't have to wear masks on ground. There's going to be no building capacity requirements, no requirements on social distancing, no requirements on get-togethers and how many people can get together. And they started school earlier this week, Liberty U in Lynchburg. And as of today, at least 159 known active cases. That number will escalate for sure. And now, Liberty University is in quarantine until September 10th and has reversed its course on masking and social distancing. Now, Liberty University is encouraging its student body to wear masks and social distance after proudly pounding its chest this summer and saying to the world at Liberty U, you don't have to social distance, you don't have to wear a mask, and we're not going to vaccine mandate our students like many of the universities in the Commonwealth. So folks, middle of the summer, Liberty in Lynchburg uses its platform and its pedestal, and it tells the world on social media, on its website, and to any media outlet that would listen. In the summer, Liberty University said, you don't have to wear masks. You don't have to quarantine. You don't have to be vaccinated. And you don't have to social distance while on campus at Liberty University. School started this week. Guess what happened? COVID spread like wildfire. Now Liberty University is under a 14-day lockdown, and now its leadership is telling the world, guess what? We're encouraging our students, our staff, and faculty to mask up, to social distance. And now Liberty University is hosting vaccine clinics all over campus and is encouraging its students, its faculty, and staff to get vaccinated immediately. It's funny how that happens, how science, time in and time out, year in and year out, decade in and decade out, century in and century out, science, facts, numbers, statistics, following a proven formula, the path to success. Now, I was reading on Facebook. Obviously, we own an advertising agency. We spend a lot of time on social media. Friend of the program did a post. I'm not going to get into which friend it was. Business owner in the community. About vaccination shaming. Vaccination shaming, basically one side says to the other side, why are you doing this? And utilizes shame tactics and strategies to make a portion of the population feel bad. Most of the vaccination shaming is coming from the vaccination side of the fence to the opposite side of the fence, which is the anti-vaxxers. The older I get, the more empathetic I try to be. The older I get, the more I try to embody a kindness and golden rule mentality. Do unto others as you want others to do unto you. That being said, I've stayed committed to this philosophy for about, 8-9 months now as the vaccinations were rolling out at the top of the year. How we're going to beat this is by following the science. Science. I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm not trying to guilt anyone. All I'm doing is asking folks that are watching the show to think of our littles, our 12 and unders, and we have one, my wife and I. They're unprotected right now. I'm asking folks to think about the autoimmune compromised individuals. Some who don't have a platform as far-reaching, perhaps, as this network. It's not about shaming. It's about doing what's right for mankind, for womankind, for your neighbors, your community, your town, your county, your city. The vaccination is one of the best methodologies to keeping hospitalizations from going through the roof. We now see that UVA Health is limiting some elective surgeries. Literally, this came out today. UVA Health is now starting to limit some elective surgical procedures. This is how the fall started last year. We saw elective surgical procedures at UVA Health halted because hospitalizations in open beds were not a reality due to this pandemic. The hospital system makes its bread and butter, its margin of profit, from elective surgeries. So when we see a press release from UVA Medical Center saying some elective surgical procedures are now being delayed, rescheduled, or postponed, your antennas should go up. Your ears should perk up. It's happening. When we see in our next topic that Albemarle County has 12 positive cases and it hasn't even been in school for 3 days? Our antennas should go up. Our ears should perk up. Charlottesville schools, 7 positive cases that they know of in the first day of being open. What's concerning is many of the cases in Albemarle County and in Charlottesville City schools are happening while students are on the bus. You read the Daily Progress today, and you see that many of the cases are happening while students are riding school buses. In fact, I'm reading Catherine Knott's article in the Daily Progress right now. The definition of who is considered a close contact is different on a school bus versus a classroom. In a classroom, a child who comes within 3 to 6 feet of an infected student does not have to quarantine if both were wearing masks correctly. However, on a school bus, anyone within a 6-foot radius of an infected person must quarantine. The unfortunate aspect of this entire circumstance, again, our most vulnerable and marginalized populations are being impacted at clips and frequencies that our resource populations are not experiencing. School bus, students on these buses, remember, school bus routes are longer than ever. because there's not enough school bus drivers to service all the routes. So county and city school leadership started combining routes. When you combine routes, you make the routes longer. Kids are on buses longer, going to school, coming back from school. Often, especially in the age of a pandemic, the students riding the bus may or may not have the same resources as students being taken to and from school by their parents or a guardian or a friend of the family in a vehicle. A car is a luxury. Being able to drive your son or daughter, or if you're a guardian or friend of a son or daughter to and from school, is a luxury. Many folks are working, and when they're working, they may not have the time to drive their kid to school. So buses, as we've predicted on this show for a month plus, are becoming this petri dish of COVID-19. They're becoming this epicenter for COVID-19. And when you really want to see the petri dish of a school bus get amplified, wait till the winter months. And in the winter months, you're not going to be able to roll the bus windows down because it's cold outside. You're going to have 40 kids and a bus driver in a tin can with windows up in a method of transportation that's poorly ventilated that holds 40 kids sitting next to each other on bus routes that are longer than ever before because they've been combined due to a bus driver shortage. My ears are perking up and my antenna is perking up. Wait till winter when it's so cold the windows can't come down on the yellow school buses that are driving around town. Buses have been a hot topic on the show of late. I would love to see, as a parent, I am a parent, I said this yesterday, a tracking method for buses. As I said yesterday, I can track when my Prince tennis shoes arrive on my doorstep, when my Cheez-It Grooves, Ballpark Franks, New York strip steak cuts, when my Haagen-Dazs ice cream, my gallon of eggnog, and my case of beer arrives at my house. I can track it on my phone. I can track when my wife's sweaters and tops and my son's Velcro shoes and Paw Patrol toys arrive on the doorstep of my house. Yet I cannot track when my son is delivered to school safely and soundly. That's odd to me. Much like I've said on this show, that maybe this pandemic is going to change public schools for good. Remember, the private schools have pivoted in Central Virginia. They're offering classes outside, under tents, in open fields. Many have acreage, serious acres on their campus. Look at the Miller School. The Miller School is a beautiful private school in Crozet with rolling hills and acres for days. Blue Ridge School, also similar. Fork Union Military Academy, similar. The Catholic School, similar. St. Anne's Belfield, similar. The private schools are innovating. They're taking their classrooms and they're putting them outside under tents. The public schools, because of their critical mass, much larger than the private schools, don't have the ability to pivot and change and innovate on a dime. I've said it once, I'll say it again. This pandemic, with the benefit of hindsight down the road, is going to forever change public schools in our country. The era of going into antiquated buildings some 50 plus years old buildings that are expected to be cleaned by a janitorial staff of 1 or 2 people, buildings that don't have great ventilation, great cleaning mechanisms, great feng shui or student body traffic flow. These type of structures, we see how vulnerable they are. We see the exposure points, if you may, with these kind of structures. It's the same thing with buses. Same thing with school buses. I'm no genius. I just read tea leaves. And putting 40 children and 1 school bus driver on a tin can in the winter when the windows are already have to stay up because it's cold outside, a tin can that doesn't have great ventilation, that seems like a recipe for disaster to me. Does it not you? I think we're going to look back when we eventually get this darn thing under control. And we're going to see and say and do the following. I'm confident down the road, this vaccination, once approved for students of all ages, not just 12 and up, students of all ages, once the FDA approves this vaccination for students of all ages, I am confident, 100% confident, that this vaccination is going to become something that is required for going to school. I'm confident down the road the concept of school buses will change, evolve, innovate, and get revitalized. Who's going to want to be a bus driver for an extended period of time? You're underappreciated by the community. You're not respected as you should be by the community. You're underpaid. You're underbenefited. You're now driving routes that are longer than ever before, with more students than ever before, during a pandemic that no one expected and planned for. In about 2.5 to 3 months, it's going to be so chilly outside, you're not going to be able to roll the windows down. And then you will have a silo petri dish of Delta within the tin can. Almost like a tin can of sardines. Charlottesville has 7 positive cases. It's been in school for less than 3 days. Liberty is quarantining the entire university. Rappahannock Public Schools, Amherst County Public Schools, and Franklin County Public Schools, 3 school systems in Virginia, are all battling massive outbreaks. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a little nervous for movie theaters again and indoor venues again. A little nervous for those. Norfolk State University, the Spartans, incentivizing its faculty, its staff, and its students with cash money. Norfolk State University is offering $500 to students and $1,000 to faculty and staff for proof of vaccination. This announcement directly correlated to Monday's FDA approval of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccination. When FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, offered final approval for the Pfizer COVID-19 vax, Norfolk State said it was going to require it for students and employees. Now it's offering cash money to students and staff, 500 to students, 1,000 to faculty and staff for proof of vaccination. Students who don't meet the vaccine requirement by September 20th will be referred to the Dean of Students for student conduct, a move which could lead to removal from on-campus housing and in-person courses. You see what's happening, right? You see what's happening. The universities, the colleges, don't want to deal with interruption for their business model like they did last fall and last spring. And the college and the universities are becoming the first businesses in America that are mandating vaccinations for their customers. Which industry in America, from a business standpoint, has mandated vaccinations much quicker or more quickly than colleges and universities? Can you think of any? UVA did it to its student body population before it did it to its doctors and nurses at its health system. I want you to think about that. The University of Virginia mandated vaccinations for its students, its customers, before it mandated vaccinations for its doctors, its nurses, and its PAs. Think about that. The universities and the colleges are setting the stage. Terry McAuliffe, likely the guy who's going to win the governor's seat in November. I don't see how Youngkin is going to beat McAuliffe. Does anyone disagree with me? If you see how Youngkin can beat McAuliffe, let me know how that's going to happen. This is a state that is blue. Blue, 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 blue. McAuliffe on the campaign trails is straight up telling businesses to mandate vaccinations. McAuliffe on the campaign trail straight up 2 days ago said, I'm going to make life extremely difficult for anti-vaxxers in Virginia if I'm elected. What do you think that means? What do you think McAuliffe is going to do? I have some ideas. You know what some of those ideas are? If McAuliffe is elected, do not be surprised if we see 100% proof of vaccination as the gateway for university sporting events. UVA is a state school. JMU, Virginia Tech. You want to know how you get a lot of folks vaccinated? Say you can't go into the John Paul Jones Arena, Lane Stadium, Scott Stadium, Davenport Field, unless you can show proof of vaccination. McAuliffe can do that. You want to know how else McAuliffe can make things difficult? Proof of vaccination at ABC stores, government-run retail outlets. You want to buy booze in Virginia? Terry McAuliffe may say, show me your proof of vaccination before you get into the ABC store to buy your Angel's Envy, your Buffalo Trace, your Tito's Vodka. Tito's Vodka, the top-selling booze in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, this past fiscal year. Terry McAuliffe could do that. Interesting statistics I read today. These statistics are about the class of 2024 and the class of 2025. The University of Virginia, the target size for its class of 2025, first years, the target size for that class was 3,788 students. 3,788 students. It admitted 3,918 undergraduates, first-year students. That means it allowed or admitted UVA 130 additional students to the first-year crop at Thomas Jefferson University. 130 extra. That speaks volumes to the brand that it is UVA. During a year where in-person tours were limited, that's how parents and high school students fall in love with the university. They go visit, they tour the grounds or the campus with an older student, and they get to know the school. That didn't really happen. That didn't really happen because of the pandemic. 130 additional students that were initially estimated, 130 additional are on grounds at UVA right now. That additional 130 students impacts the Charlottesville economy and ecosystem. You got 130 extra people with mommy and daddy's credit card. You also have 130 extra people that are going to take up rooftops and bedrooms and beds in the city that otherwise would have been allocated to affordable housing or citizens of Charlottesville. The student population at UVA is more diverse than ever. 41% of incoming students, 41% of first years at UVA identify as a racial minority. UVA is committed to diversity and an eclectic student body. And the first-year crop at Thomas Jefferson University is the most diverse that it's ever been. Props to UVA for that. Get the kiosk photos on screen if you could, Judah. Give me a thumbs up when those are on screen. Excuse me. Look at the screen, guys. Look at the screen. Flip through them. Keep flipping through them back and forth, J-Dubs. This kiosk is for sale for $5,000. This kiosk, 5Gs. Keep flipping through them, J-Dubs. I'll tell you when to stop. Look at the screen. 8x8 stationary drive-through kiosk, 4-compartment sink, commercial fridge, and AC unit. Someone could run a business out of here. 2 drive-up windows. Originally pump and haul system converted to hard plumbing. There's air conditioning in this kiosk. $5,000. And you got a let's not call it a brick and mortar, but you got a business structure. It's for sale right now, located in Madison County, Virginia. It was posted on Craigslist 13 hours ago. This is essentially a stationary food truck. And this is undoubtedly the lowest price point that I have ever seen if someone wants to get into the food and beverage game. An 8x8 stationary drive-through kiosk with 4-compartment sink, commercial fridge, and air-conditioned unit. It has 2 drive-up windows. All you got to do if you buy this kiosk is find a piece of land to position on it. It's 8x8. It's not like you need a massive piece of land. You can come back to me now, J-Dubs. And then you can utilize social media, mobile, and digital marketing to drive tremendous awareness to where the kiosk is located and what menu is being sold through the kiosk. Now, it doesn't have the same potential as a food truck because you could drive to and from places, but this thing isn't going to break like a food truck. And at $5,000, it's at a price point that's 90% less than most food trucks. Most food trucks, if you get a legitimate one, are going to start at 50 G's and go way up. Here's $5K for a kiosk drive-through, Madison County. Entrepreneur, F&B entrepreneur, gobble this up and bring it to Charlottesville. Heck, if you're the city of Charlottesville, buy this kiosk and do the beer garden concept we were talking about. Put the kiosk in the center of the downtown mall. Sell wristbands for booze. Use it for your visitor center, your tourist center. Right now, the city of Charlottesville's got a bus that occasionally is parked on the downtown mall. And this bus, the new tourism center, the bus, is giving away paper pamphlets to tourists. Tourists don't want paper pamphlets. They have smartphones in their hands. They don't need paper pamphlets to tell them what to do in town. Ay, mi madre. 5Gs for that kiosk located in Madison. Someone's going to scoop that up, and someone's going to have a business on their hands, guys, at a price point that is very tangible and manageable. This topic came up on the show this morning. Underperforming or underutilized corridors in Charlottesville. We were talking High Street, and it's a topic that's come up before on the I Love Cville network. High Street has significant density around it. It's got neighborhoods, homeowners, and renters. High Street has CFA, major employer, located on it. Martha Jefferson is opening an outpatient clinic on High Street, construction going on as we speak. High Street parallel to the Rivanna River. You can make a legitimate argument that High Street may be the most underperforming corridor in the city of Charlottesville. It's not safe to bike there. It's not really safe to walk there. It's seen some better days from a TLC standpoint. It's parallel to the Rivanna River. How many corridors can say that? It's a hop, skip, and a jump from the downtown mall in Belmont. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from the uber Tony and the uber affluent and the uber wealthy North Downtown neighborhood. It's got some great brands and businesses already located there. Riverside, Fabio's, Jack and Jill's, Tubby's, just to name a few. La Michoacana's got some of the best tacos in town. Still, it underperforms. Would you feel comfortable walking from North Downtown down to High Street to Riverside? Probably not. Would you ride your bike? Probably not. Can you imagine the potential of a river district rebranding High Street the River District and having pop-ups along the Rivanna River on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday, so you could walk the river like you can the San Antonio Boardwalk and patronize pop-ups left and right? That would crush it. You improve the walking and biking, and you'd get more businesses interested in the corridor. Two other ones came to mind. Harris and Cherry Avenue. Harris and Cherry Avenue could be better. Cherry Avenue, with its proximity to downtown, UVA, Midtown, Belmont, and 5th Street Extended, I want you to get on Cherry Avenue on Ridge Street. And I want you to drive Cherry Avenue from Ridge Street to Roosevelt Brown. Is it Roosevelt Brown Boulevard, Judah? I think it's Roosevelt Brown Boulevard. Is it Boulevard or Avenue? Let me look that up real quick. I'm going to do a quick. Yeah, it's Boulevard. Make the drive from Ridge Street to Roosevelt Brown Boulevard. And look left and right. And ask yourself the potential of the Cherry Avenue corridor. Ask yourself the potential of Harris. Ask yourself the potential of High Street. We got to keep revitalizing and huffing new life into the city, especially because it's 10.2 square miles and landlocked. We have such limited space if we don't continue to improve what we have, then you're not going to truly experience the city like it could be. Those 3 quarters, I would love to see some TLC allocated to them. How about you? Let's get to some comments coming in. I love you, Dino. Ray Cadell's on the road to a show but listening. Hello, Ray. We love when you watch the program, my friend. We love you, Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach. I love when you watch the show, Scott Aaronworth. You're a good man. You're a good supporter of the program. Dino, you are awesome, and I can't wait to get back on the show. Dino, you can come on the show anytime you want, homie. Your pizza's banging, and I love seeing you and your smile at Dairy Market. Thank you for watching the program, my friend. Doug Allen, watching the program on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall. Jerry, I love the show. I love when you bring topics to us that we don't find in other news outlets. Frankly, I don't watch the news much anymore, but I do watch the I Love CVille network. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate your support. I really do appreciate your support. I cannot wait for you guys to tune into Monday's show. On Monday, we have Gwendolyn Cassidy on the broadcast. And Gwendolyn Cassidy on Monday's show is going to talk to us about an idea that she has had called CVille Villas. She hopes to build villas in Charlottesville to help solve homelessness. We will spotlight Gwen Cassidy on the Monday edition of the I Love CVille show with an idea that I think is dynamite and dynamic. Gwen Cassidy, who's gone through some trials and tribulations on her life, she's going to talk about them on Monday. Do not miss this show. Thank you, Scott Aaronworth. He says Hampton Roads would be better off if we had somebody like me promoting Hampton Roads. Thank you. It's easy to champion, thank you, Scott. It's easy to champion this community because I love it so much. We named our business for the love we have for Charlottesville. That's the program, the Friday edition of the I Love CVille show, presented by Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Visit them on the downtown mall next to Rapture. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, helping folks with pain management, anxiety, helping them sleep through the night, helping them relax. Certificates of analyses on everything in the store. Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Judah Wickhauer, Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille show on a Friday. Keep it local. Patronize the restaurants and the businesses we want to see survive this pandemic. How they will survive is us supporting them now as we head into the winter months. Can't believe I'm saying this again. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. So long, guys. Hasta luego.